week I come on here and share what's on my mind. But to be honest, I haven't been really sharing what is really on my mind. And that's fertility issues, feeling stuck, just life. And as women, we're expected to push through everything. And to be honest, I'm just tired of pushing and I just want to be honest. I have guests who come on here and they're vulnerable, like today's guest. If I'm just sitting here talking about pop culture and making pretend that that's the only thing on my mind, that would be false. So this is me letting you in a little more. And I bring the question to you, the audience, if you do want me to speak on more personal stuff more, do you want me to be more vulnerable? Do you want me to share more of my life on what's on my mind, to which of what I'm comfortable sharing, of course, always. But I really appreciate what this guest brought today and being so vulnerable and honest. And it is something that's actually been on my mind, of being more open about the things that I face and deal with, especially with this being down to a T and me being T. So if you want more of that, please do let me know. And if you have any questions, always happy to bring them to the pod. So let me know, put it in the comment section. What do you want to hear from me? What do you want me to be more open about? And yeah, so stay tuned for this conversation because it's an important one. Well, we are here today with a friend, not a friend of the pod, a friend overall, longtime friend, Lissette Rios.
Yes, thank you for having me.
No, thank you, of course. She is the founder of Chic Influence Consulting. And as she's saying, ex-girlboss turned consultant.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really, really well. How about you?
I'm okay. I'm pushing through. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm trying to get to where you're at. Yeah.
It's a journey. It's a journey to get to the other side, but the only way is through, is what I tell myself.
Yeah. So we have the starting 5 questions, icebreaker questions, whatever comes to mind, spit it out. Okay?
Perfect.
So what's the biggest myth we need to debunk about working America?
Nothing is actually that serious. Like, truly. Like, we have put so much pressure on perfection and that everything is urgent. Nothing is actually urgent. Like, it really isn't. Yeah. Everything will get figured out and everything will get done.
I always say this all the time. I'm like, no one is gonna, like, no one also knows what you're gonna do, especially like in my world in media. I'm like, no one knows what you're gonna write up. So like, why is this urgent? Why is this due today?
Truly, when people, especially clients, when they're like, or anyone, they're like, I need it tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, I go back to them. I go, answer me this question. Do you want me to give you, wait, can I say bad words here?
Yes. Oh my God. We push that.
Okay, perfect. I always say, do you want like a shitty plan just because you want me to meet a deadline? Or do you want to give me a couple extra days and I can give you something thought through, strategic, and really thorough? And they're always like, oh yeah, you can take a few days. So I'm like, why does everyone default to be like, give me something tomorrow? Like, I don't get it. But that's my biggest myth that we need to debunk, that nothing is actually that urgent.
And what is your social media pet peeve?
Honestly, I don't think I really have one, to be honest, because I just firmly believe that like people should just do whatever they want on social.
I'm jealous of you.
Like, and if something really annoys me, I just unfollow the person.
I need that energy.
I think maybe if anything, like,
here we go.
Overconsumption or excessive spending, but who am I? I can't talk. You do whatever you want with. It's your money. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like in general, I'm very chill. Like I'm just like, in general, I really don't think I'm a judgy person. So just do whatever you want.
Okay. Yikes. I'm a judgy person.
It's okay.
Yeah. When you rest, what are some of the things you do to get in that mindset?
Rest?
Yes.
Okay. So to me, not having an alarm set in the mornings. So I don't have my alarm. I actually turned off my alarm, but I also have a 1.5-year-old puppy who wakes me up every day between 5:30 and 6 a.m. So that is my alarm.
Okay.
But I also think that there's something very restful of not having like an iPhone or like a watch, like jolting you to get up.
Yeah.
Like she wakes me up very like calmly. To get into like a Zen rest day, I try to do things the long way. Meaning like, I obviously love coffee and I had this obsession with like my Nespresso machine, but I actually stopped using my Nespresso machine and I make my coffee via French press. It's a much longer process, but it makes me use my hands. So I grind my beans every morning. I boil my water. I do everything with my hands. So to me, that's like rest and chill. And to me, slowness is resting. Like I'm undoing like that toxic girl boss, like fast. I have to do like 5,000 things in a day and I'm gonna burn myself out. I've already been there. I burned myself out to the point of depression and anxiety. I'm good.
Yeah.
I want things slow and chill. I take my time with everything.
Yeah.
I don't allow myself to take more than 2 calls a day so that I can rest. I don't know. I can keep going. I have like this whole journey.
I'm sitting here a little bit envious. I'm just like, goals, not my life, goals.
One day.
Yeah,
You're
one
in your
day.
girl boss era, so you know, you're doing a lot.
What's your favorite and least favorite corporate speak term? So circle back, touch base.
Low-hanging fruit.
That's your least or
Least
most
favorite.
Your least favorite.
Least favorite. I'm like, low-hanging fruit. Like, I don't know. Like, every time someone
What's
says...
the fruit that's hanging?
One, that. And then I literally get a visual of the person saying it, plucking a fruit. like I don't know what they're grabbing. But I'm like, okay, grab that fruit. And I think my favorite, I don't know. What is my favorite? It'll come to me.
Yeah.
When I get put on the spot, I can't remember. But I can definitely say I cannot stand low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of circle back. I'm like, just say it normally. Like, you don't tell your friends, like, hey, circle back with me.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe my favorite thing is not so much like a saying, it's just like an action. Like I try to be as direct as possible. So when people are direct, I'm like, yes, tell me you don't like it. Just say, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Don't be like, well, per my last email, you should have read the brief. Like, just say you didn't do it right. Do it again. Like, that's what I like.
I'm actually not a fan of per my last email. I know a lot of people like that. That's like a favorite thing, like a defense mechanism.
What's passive aggressive?
It's
Just
not
say,
passive
just say you
aggressive.
didn't read the email.
Like, but sometimes I didn't read it. Sometimes I didn't. It's okay. But you don't gotta call me out. Like, I missed it. Like, take it easy on me. But if someone's like, per my last email, I'm like, okay, it's not that serious. It ain't that deep.
True.
It's
Just
truly
be
not
direct.
that deep. Just repeat it. It's gonna take you 2 seconds to just retype.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or I do a little bit passive aggressive thing where I don't say per my last email. I also don't answer the question. I just say scroll down the email chain. So it forces you to go back down.
I think it's valid to say like scroll down or like per my last email if someone's like trying to prove you wrong or like in that terms. But like if you're just gonna have to repeat yourself, that's where I'm like, it ain't that deep. Just repeat yourself.
True. Yeah, I do that too. I just copy paste. I'm like, here it is.
Yeah.
There.
It's that simple.
Punto y final.
Something people would be surprised to know about you.
I'm thinking here because I'm pretty much like an open book. Like if you follow me on social, it's very chaotic there. Something people, I can talk with my mouth closed.
Wait, no, now you have to do it.
No, I'll 100% do it. I put myself on the spot.
Okay.
I don't know. Give me a sentence.
I'm on down to a T.
Wait, I haven't done this in a long time. I'm trying to hold back from laughing. Don't ask me how I figured this out. I don't know if you understand. I said
I'm just trying to imagine the day where you just were sitting there.
Hold on, let me not laugh.
Okay.
Let me like, because like M's are hard because like you need your mouth
Okay,
to like make an M.
What's a sentence that
So
doesn't require?
let me say, I'm gonna say I love Bad Bunny.
Okay.
So weird. So the way that I was much better before. I literally haven't done this little trick in years.
It just sounds like you're like in a
little
submarine
box?
or like a little bowl.
So there used to be this show on MTV like mad long ago called Oddities.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is like probably like 97, 98 or something. And my dad and I, we were watching it on TV and it was like people with like weird human tricks would come on and like do things. And somebody comes on and is like, I can tell with my mouth closed. And he starts doing it. And I look at my dad, I'm like, I can do that. He's like, no, you can't. And I just started doing it. And my dad was like, oh my God. I was like in 7th grade or something. And at that point he would like parade me around. He's
Yeah.
like, do the trick. So yeah, I used to sound way better, but
That was really good.
I don't know. It sounded very muffled to me. I feel like I can like fine tune my art again.
That was good.
Okay.
So, Lissette, let's get right into the conversation. You've been calling yourself an ex-girl boss. And honestly, I'm feeling that way. I feel like I've girl bossed too hard. So what does that title mean to you? Like, why did you choose to call yourself an ex-girl boss?
One, there's nothing wrong with the term girl boss in general because I think in theory, I think it's very empowering and it's motivating. I just think that I know I'm a little bit older than you, but I think like at the same time, we kind of came up in the same era of like girls entering or women entering corporate, where it's like, we have a lot to prove. We have a lot to prove for ourselves. We have a lot to prove for our families, our culture. And I just wanted to like climb the ranks really fast. And then of course that book comes out, Girl Boss. And I just remember reading, I'm like, I can do this. And I'm a workaholic. So if anyone says you can't do it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do it and I'm going to prove you wrong. So I did everything in my power to achieve every single dream. And then I just girl bossed. I worked 14 hours a day, took on every project I could, try to make as much money as I could, networked, go to every event so that I can meet as many people that were more connected than me, like just put myself out there. And I did this collectively, you know, it's going to be 15 years that I've lived in New York City. So like the minute I got here, I was like, grind. I have to prove everyone in Miami that like I can make it here. But it caught up on me. And to me, like Girl Boss is like that era from that time when like the book comes out and women, we can do anything at any cost. But I also think it was like a double-edged sword that like a lot of people weren't talking about. It's like, yeah, we're girl bossing, but to what extent? Because it's hurting relationships, it's hurting friendships, it's hurting ourselves in terms of mental health, physical health. So, you know, that's why I was like ex-girl boss. Like, I'm just like, I'm in my rest era, you know, like what is the evolution of the girl boss? I'm not sure yet. But to me, it's like, it's like that term is associated to like a moment in time where every girl was like, I'm gonna girl boss. I can do it too.
So do you feel like girl boss can be lived out now?
I think girl boss could be lived out now. I think it's just kind of redefining it. I mean, I use the term like cheekily, like, you know, kind of in a cheeky way, like ex-girl boss, but I still think I'm a boss.
Yeah.
And to me, I also, you know, this is me where I like to push things. I'm like, why do I have to be like a Latina entrepreneur? I'm an entrepreneur. You know, like I always like told people, I'm like, I'm an entrepreneur first, my identity second. Not that I ever took anything away, like not that it took anything away from me being so proud to be Latina, but I also was playing in a very general market space. And I already know what the general market does when they hear Latina anything. They put you in a box.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm Latina first. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur first. So to me, girl boss also kind of gave that same sentiment. It's like, well, why can't I just be a boss?
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, yeah, ex-girl boss, I'm just a boss now.
And your identity is also woven into like, if you're an entrepreneur first, like Latinas are just in there because it's not even that it has to be second. It's just like, it's woven into you being an entrepreneur.
It's who we are.
Yeah. It's like, we say this with so many of our guests. It's like, we don't like, things aren't Latino specific because I'm walking down the street, it's a Latino day and I'm listening to Latino music. Living a Latino experience. It's just like, anything I do is, yes, I'm living life out as a Latina, but it's so much, there's so much more to me.
Yes.
Yeah. And so now you're documenting where you are. You quit your business. You've now gone independent as a consultant. How has it been going as you've documented all of this? Because I feel like you've been calling it chaos. So how is the chaos?
I mean, the chaos is beautiful, to be honest. I kind of coined the series on social media because it's what it felt like. I'm having a midlife crisis, right? I turned 40 last year. There's just been so many changes in my life. There's not just entrepreneurship in the last 10 years. You know, I started my business in the last 10 years. I got married in the last 10 years. I ran 2 marathons. I tried to start a family. Now I'm going through IVF. Then there's a pandemic in the middle. I'm trying to save my business from the pandemic. But then now, like, everything is just chaotic again. And then it was like a perfect storm where I was like, I don't think I can continue working at this pace as a completely self-funded business, which was profitable from the inception. That's really hard. And I had a team and I had crazy overhead. And there just came a point where I'm like, I am incredibly burnt out. And something needs to change. So I'm making this like very cliff notes. It was the hardest thing to shut down the business because I was like, I couldn't even function. I was like operating at like 1% battery and it was unfair to so many people. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna shut the business down. And honestly, I shut it down with no plan. And anyone who knows me knows that I always have a plan. I am a neurotic, OCD type A Leo that has a very regimented, like neurotic life. And with the support of my husband, he was just like, I think it's just time, like, to walk away. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll do that.
Okay, King.
And I know he's amazing. And I did that with no plan. The only thing I told myself is that, like, I need to rest. But in all of that, I don't know, call it like a Leo thing where I still need attention. I was like, well, I'm going to document this. One, because I want to feel selfishly less alone in this process. Like, I don't want to like go into like this cave and be like, I'm trying to find myself and not connect. Because at the end of the day, to me, I love connecting with people. And for some reason, I have no problem showcasing my very flawed life.
Yeah.
Because when people see, oh, her shit's in shambles, I can relate. I need people to provide me that kind of support too. So that's why I was like, okay, so I'm starting a series called Lissette is Having a Midlife Crisis. And I just closed my business because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in my life, you know?
Do you feel like you girl boss too hard?
1,000%. I girl boss entirely too hard.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, I say girl boss too hard in the context of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I'm very honest. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Like, I'm not the kind of person when someone's like, I have an idea, I'm not going to tell you, oh yeah, quit your job and start a business. It's very hard. You have to be incredibly disciplined. You have to be okay with the unknown every single day. You have to be able to problem solve and trust yourself in a way that, like, if all is falling, you have no one to run to. Like, when I was having a shitty day with the business and everyone's like airing out their problems to me, I don't have anyone else to air out the problem. I don't have a boss to, you know, it all falls on your shoulders. So then there's like that component. So it's like, it takes like a certain personality trait to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So for me, I girl boss too hard in entrepreneurship. I also had a career in corporate, which I really loved. And that also helped prepare me for entrepreneurship. So I feel like I've had both worlds.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is significantly harder.
I love that you said that because I feel like in this culture now with social media and like everyone's pushed to start their own business, it's like that's the goal. But I feel like I remember a time where I would advocate and I'd be like, I love being in a 9-to-5 because it gets me to think less. I get to do what I love to do in storytelling in different ways. But like, and people would be like, what? That's like, and I'm like, when you think about entrepreneurship though, like you're still building a team. And like, would you want someone to feel like they can't join your company because they have to build their own thing? Like we need people who want a 9-to-5 because like,
100%.
if you're going to launch your own business, you need people who want to do that as well. So it's like if everyone was just launching their own business, who would be working for who?
Exactly. I think there's pros and cons to everything. Yes. When I first started my business, I was shitting on corporate nonstop because I'm like, I was just like, yes.
Yeah, but that's also what we're being fed. It's like what you're seeing on social media. It's like that's success. If you've done your own business and you've opened it and it's running and operating, it's like that's the epitome of success. And I'm like, people can have a 9-to-5 and still be very successful.
And have incredible careers in corporate too. Like 1,000%, I would not have the basis for the business that I created if it wasn't for my corporate job.
Yeah.
You know, like working in a corporate job, especially at the one that I was in, I was working on Procter & Gamble brands. That is like the Harvard of like, you know, consumer packaged goods. I learned so much from how to operate at such an elite level. I learned not just processes, ways of thinking. I had an insane network of colleagues, not just all over the country, all over the world. So yes, when I made that decision, it was easy because I'm like, well, I already know everything and I know a lot of people. Yeah. So once I make the switch, but thank God for that corporate experience.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot. And even now, you know, when I'm trying to figure out what's next, yes, I'm consulting now because to be honest, I don't know if I can go to corporate right away because I'm so used to having so much freedom that I'm like, I don't know if I can have someone that I need to report to, but I'm not against going back to corporate because yes, there's things also too that like people don't think about. When you have your own business, in health insurance is crazy expensive to insure yourself as an entrepreneur. Where I'm just like, man, if I go back to corporate, well, my health insurance is like literally nothing. My insurance now is $1,100 a month as an entrepreneur. And that's just me. Like, that's just being honest. Or, you know, like, so I'm like, I want benefits. Yes, with my company, because I had a team, I was able to create 401k. So I have that for myself. But like, all those things I have to pay for. You know, I'm like, I'm just like, I need some benefits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and because I've already worked on both sides, I'm like, I want to be able to go into a job, unleash my brain, and wrap it up and go home and not think about it. You know, with entrepreneurship, everyone, it's like so funny. Even my mom would be like, oh, it's so easy, entrepreneur. You could just go on vacation and just shut it down. I was like, there's no such thing as that, Mom. Like, if I planned a vacation and it happened to land on payroll day, guess who has to take her computer on vacation? And even though I had a finance team, I still have to approve and go through every line item. So it's like, it never shuts off.
Yeah.
Because even though I had a team and like, if they still had a question, I'm not gonna be like, don't call. I'm still gonna answer their call. You know what I mean? Like, where like, I feel like in corporate, when I went on vacation, I was like, deuces, like, do not talk to me. So.
Was there one thing that happened or like one moment that you were like, I need to walk away from this? Like, do you remember the moment that it like snapped you? Like, people think of like, oh, I had a breakdown this day or this went wrong or like, or was it something that was like a rolling
It was
snowball?
a slow drip for sure. It was a slow drip for sure. It definitely started in 2022. Like, I have the whole timeline emblazoned in my head. Because obviously when you live it, it's like, they're like core memories. 2022 was just horrible. Like, it was literally the worst year of my life. Like, I wiped it out of my brain for many reasons. But I think it took, you know, the business was doing great and I loved it and everything. But the pandemic for entrepreneurs was insanity. I remember telling myself, I think I don't want to do this anymore. But then my husband, who is like like I'm the devil and he's the angel. He's like the one that balances me. He's like, maybe you're just like speaking out of like emotion and like, you know, like maybe just like think about it for a little bit. He's like, that's a really big decision. And I just remember him saying that. I'm like, okay, you're right. Like, I'm just being like impulsive and crazy. But it just like, it never went away. And I just remember like waking up every day and just being like so frantic and so exhausted and always feeling I was just treading water. And then in 2023, we started, you know, we weren't able to get pregnant. We started IVF. And that's when everything really started to change for me. Last year was just brutal. I had 3 back-to-back egg retrievals. I had 2 biopsy screenings, which are incredibly painful. I had a mock transfer, more testing, and all of this has like a lot of like medication and injections. Because we live in a capitalist country, it's like nobody cares. They're like, get on with it. Too bad, you're a woman, keep going. You know? And I was just like, this sucks. Like I'm having my team take on calls because I'm in shambles every day. And that's when I looked at my husband, I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. I'm like, I am broken. I literally told him, it was like August. I'm like, I am a shell of a human. I am broken. I don't know who I am. I've suffered too much. Like, I'm trying not to cry. But it was really hard. I cannot do IVF and run a business. Like, something has got to go. I was faced with a question: save the business or save myself? That is the very long version of why I closed my business.
No, and it's your first time really like breaking it down this way, right?
And because you've created a safe space for it.
No, of course. Thank you. And I thank you for sharing, because I know that that's a lot to like share of yourself and be so vulnerable. But I've always told you this, I've never actually talked about it on the podcast, but I'm going through my own fertility issues. So like to hear someone like you, and I've told you this in other spaces, just like for you to be so vulnerable and open about it and share. And it's not like you're sharing every day, but you're sharing small parts that let somebody know that like they're going through this and also pushing through. And I've said this to people. It's like, even showing up is work when you're going through this.
It's so
and
hard.
You're like having these hormones, and it's like you want to cry on a random 2 p.m. You want to cry on a flight in the middle of nowhere. Like, you're having like so much of your body is being altered. The chemistry of it's being altered. And then, as you're saying, like every cycle feels like a failure. And then you're expected to show up 100% as a wife, a daughter, an employee, a colleague, a sister, like all these different things, a friend. And so like you saying this is like making someone else feel seen or heard. So Like,
Yeah.
thank
No.
you so much for that.
No, thank you. And a big reason, again, why I share is for the same reason, to feel less alone.
Yeah.
Because once I started sharing, same thing. Women was like, oh, I had my baby through IVF. Don't give up. It took X number of rounds. It took X number of transfers. And I'm like, wow, like so many people. And I'm just like, why can't this be normalized?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, also, why am I also going? This is like a whole other conversation, which I feel like this country has really done an injustice on like educating young girls about our actual bodies. Because
I
I'm like,
say this all the time. Like the things that I've learned about my body going through my fertility journey, it's insane. I'm like, how did I not know these things? Like,
we're
how
very
did,
smart women.
Yeah.
And I'm
I would
just like,
like to
why
think
do I
I'm
feel
smart
so
and
dumb?
educated. And it's like, I remember walking out of one appointment just like crying because it felt like so much information about myself. And it's like you're being told what to do and like this and this and this and that. And it's just like, no one even, it's when I tell people now, I'm like, there's only a very small window of time you can get pregnant in a month.
It's
And
6 days.
And then you grow up thinking that you can get pregnant the whole month. And you're like,
don't have sex. You're gonna get pregnant if they look at you. And it's like, no, you literally maybe have through 6 days max.
yes.
Like to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I do it for knowledge sharing, to make for others to feel less alone, because I just know like if somebody else were sharing and I watched it, it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Because it is a very lonely experience. Obviously, I mean, you have a husband and so do I, and he's my husband is, and I'm sure like yours, a very active participant in this journey. But still, yes, I say it's lonely, like as a couple, especially when you see everyone else around you just like popping out kids left and right. So it's like, I told him the other day, I'm like, whatever, my pregnancy is just something that happens to other people. Like, it's just not going to happen for me.
Good perspective.
You know, and I'm like, I know I try not to be like a pessimist, but I'm like, I also say things like this to myself to like
Protect yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I've gotten my hopes up so high.
Yeah.
Well,
and there's just so much that a man can also understand too, because like you're getting your time of the month every month. And like that is something that's now tainted in like a different way. And it's like, it's always been tainted because you're like, ugh, cramps, whatever. And now it's like a whole other level of like tainted. And it's just like, there's just so much that they can understand, but they're also going through it with you. And so there's like, and then you also don't want to walk around the road negatively. I think that's another thing that people don't notice. It's like, you don't want to like, when like you have friends planning weddings. And like, I was actually talking about this with a friend recently. It's like, she was planning her wedding and I have other friends that are like, just gave birth. Some friends are pregnant. It's like, you don't want to be the person that's like, I'm just,
You're like, I hate my
I'm
life.
failing.
Yeah. No, I think I always tell people, two things can exist at the same time.
Yep.
I could be going through my own shit, but I will always be so happy, especially now that I'm going through this, that I'm like, when somebody gets pregnant, I'm like, amen, congratulations, because I don't know what it took for you to get there for that baby to stick. So amen, because now I really realize like getting pregnant is a literal miracle. Look, nobody's life is perfect. Everybody is fighting a battle. There's some battles that people are battling. I'm like, I wouldn't want your battle and you probably wouldn't want mine. So I'm like, this is just my battle that's happening in my life, but I still have a beautiful life.
Yeah.
Full of so much love and joy and happiness. So like, that's what I focus on.
Yeah.
And then IVF just happens to be a part of it. Yes, it's a big part of it. But, you know, I laugh it off. Like, even with all this weight gain, I'm always like, big back era, you know?
And there's seasons. I always tell people, like, there's seasons and it's okay to not be okay. And I think trying to pretend you're okay actually works against you. And that's, like, the biggest lesson that I've had in my journey. It's, like, I think I always felt like me saying I'm not okay was almost, like, accepting defeat. But it's okay to just, it's not. It's, like, it's okay for me to have a season where I'm not okay when I've always been okay. So, and I just said okay like 50 times right now. But
yeah. But you see, I also think going back to like the girl boss thing, I think part of like, we got to fake it till we make it was part of like that girl boss mentality.
Exactly.
It's like, God forbid you have an off day and you show that you're a woman. Yeah. You're not girl bossing hard
and you're
enough.
not like succeeding and having like success in all corners of your life. It's almost like it feels like you failed the girl boss mentality.
Which I think it's the opposite. I think when you show vulnerability, especially when you're in a leadership role, your team, I find, will not only connect with you, but will respect you more because you humanize yourself. Because at the end of the day, yes, we spend a lot of time in our work like mode, but we're human first and foremost. You know, and like when I had the company in the former version of it, I always told the team, like, your health and your family comes first.
Yeah.
Like, if your kid needs you at something for school, you go. I don't even care. Just put it in the calendar. You can literally tell me the same day. I don't care.
Yeah.
If you have a doctor's appointment, go take care of that. Like, I
used to lie. I had a workplace where I lied about me going to a doctor's appointment, and I found that to be the craziest thing. And I took that into my leadership role now, where I'm like, I would never want my employees to ever lie to me about taking care of themselves. Like, if you got to go to therapy and that's your therapist only has a 2 p.m. slot, just put that in the calendar, like that you're just busy. But like, I like the fact that I had to lie, and that's like, and I feel like girl boss era fed that. Like, it's like almost like, no, you got to keep the hustle going, and like you figure out and manage everything on your off time.
Don't even sleep. If you have extra time, find a side hustle.
Yes.
Find a third source of revenue. It's like no, like
be a content creator.
We need to sleep.
Yes, we need sleep. Okay, so what is next as you depart from your girl boss era?
The girl boss era. So in going through this whole journey of, I honestly took like about 2.5 months of just, I'm not going to say doing nothing, because I feel like going through the journey of like what's happening next.
Rest is something, by the way.
Yes, it is something, and it's incredible what it does when you do it on a long-term way that I did. And I know that I was very fortunate to do it, where you start thinking very clearly again. I love what I do. I love my industry. I love PR. I love big picture thinking. What I realize is that I don't need to leave the industry that I was in. I just need to show up differently in a way that serves me now. So I've kind of evolved it from Chic Influence to what it was to Chic Influence Consulting.
Amazing.
So which I just announced like a week ago. So
yay. Okay. So we end every episode, because we start every episode with what's on my mind. So we're going to ask you what's on your mind.
I am like a Bravo-holic, and I watch every reality TV you could imagine. So I'm just really here for the new iteration of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, because it's already giving what it needs to give.
Oh, really? Because they tried it with New York, and they failed, I heard.
I mean, this last season, it was just like a lot. Like, it was a lot. I understand why they did, like, the new cast. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think some storylines were very forced.
Atlanta is it.
But it's just like the Atlanta girls, they just bring a very different energy. And it's also not a totally new cast. Like, Portia is back. Drew is still there. Kenya still shows up. Cynthia's there. But then they sprinkled in, like, they brought friends. Like, Shamia, now she's, like, has an official peach. So it's like, it's half old, not old, half previous members and then new members. And I think maybe that's more of the formula, but it's good.
Noted. All right.
Yes.
Well, I have to get on the Housewives train. I've never watched an episode of Real Housewives. I'm
What?
super Any? Yeah.
Oh my, I don't even know where to start.
It's just like I'm scared to start. So, because once I get involved in something, then I'm fully committed. So that's just my
okay. If you were to start with any city, I will say start with New Jersey.
Okay.
From the beginning. Because those women, I don't know, New Jersey just builds people different. They are rough. Yeah. But like in like a mafia Italian, I'm gonna take you down, don't fuck with my family, and I like it. It's messy as hell. That's why you watch it.
I like it. I like organized crime.
You want to, no, I mean, plus, like Teresa goes to prison, whatever. But you want to watch TV to escape your own life. Yeah. So I will say start with New Jersey.
Okay.
And then I can give you the next city. Perfect. That'll keep you busy for a while.
Well, Lissette, we're so excited to watch your journey. And thank you for coming on and speaking to it, being so honest about it, keeping it real, and like also being so vulnerable about every corner of your life right now. We appreciate you and hope you enjoyed your time here on Down to a T.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel so cool because I think you're like the coolest.
We've known each other forever. So it's
like literally. So I'm like, she wants me on the show?
Yes, because this is such an exciting chapter. Not enough people talk about it, like you said. So
yeah, let's all have midlife crises together.
We have to have you back when you've like launched the next chapter of your life.
I'm here for it. I will come back.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Down to a T.